You get the donkey.
Oh, no way! No way!
Oh my god, you just killed so many fucking people, dude.
I'm in jail for 3 hours, so... Alright, so for a Darkrunner, your belt and guards, the stats that you want are going to be strength, backstab damage, and toughness. Now, a lot of you guys need clarification on this. If you see this green bar, this means that this is your primary stat. You can only roll up to one of this, right? Now, if you look at the blue bars, there's 2 of them. It can roll any of these stats. And it doesn't matter if it comes first or it comes second, doesn't matter. These are interchangeable in terms of order, it doesn't matter. But the first one will always be your primary stat, and these will be your secondary. Now, so once again, you want to have strength as your primary, and you want to have backstab melee damage and toughness as your secondaries for your belt and guards only. Okay? Now, for every single piece of your gear that you see here, no matter what, you want to have your primary source of stat. So as a Darkrunner, or any melee in general, you want to take strength. As a mage, you want to take intelligence. As an archer, you want to take agility. And as a healer, you want to take spirit. Okay? Stamina is something that you can or cannot take, but I would highly recommend you to take whatever these four. Stamina is pure health, basically, and pure defense. And almost no class in the game could really benefit off of it except for Skull Knight and Night Cloaks. Even then, I would still recommend you going intelligence for Skull Knight and Night Cloaks. Alright, so once again, belt and guards want strength, backstab melee damage, and toughness. Now for the rest of your gear, your helmet, your chest piece, your fist, your pants, and your boots, what you want to have is strength, resilience, and receive melee damage. The reason that you take resilience is that resilience is super good in terms of crit damage and crit rate, right? And it's going to give you a lot more tankiness rather than taking flat maximum health. The reason you take receive melee damage instead of receive range or magic damage is because melee is a lot bursty than range damage or magic damage. Often melees can one-shot you, or they will two-shot you, and basically it gives you no time to teleport out and reset and pop your healing potions, or just like heal up in general from your healers. Basically, when you get one shot, there's nothing you can do about it, right? So this way, it protects you from getting one shot. While archers and mages, they kind of kill you a bit slower in terms of constant DPS at range. So you can kind of have time to pop your potions, have your healer heal you to be able to teleport out. So that's why you take receive melee damage reduction instead. Now, there is a caveat to taking receive melee damage reduction. If you're in cloth or if you're in leather, then for sure, by all means, take receive melee damage reduction. However, if you're in plate, go full on, just go take receive magic damage reduction. This is pretty obvious, but I just thought I'd mention it. Now, the shield defense penetration and shield defense penetration rate, if you have a two-hander, you have a base rate of 50-50. So basically that means you get, over here down here, you get shield defense penetration rate of 50 and shield defense penetration of 50. So that's already good enough. If you're going two-hander, if you're going dual wield, then that kind of sucks. You lose out on that bonus. Alright, so once again, belt and guards, you want strength, toughness, and backstab melee damage. And for the rest of your armor pieces, you want strength, resilience, and receive melee damage reduction. Now for your bow and your weapon, they have the identical roles in terms of the category. So basically what you want to have is that you want to have your strength, and you want to have your melee critical damage. And also you want to have melee critical damage rate. So what this does is that it basically you do a shit ton more damage at an RNG chance. But there is also another stat that people tend to go for is defense penetration. Now, defense penetration is just a flat amount, right? But it doesn't do percent damage, it's just a flat amount. There's arguments being made for that defense penetration could be better than critical damage, but in the current meta, when people don't have resilience up, when they have less than like 5,000 resilience in the game, critical damage is still just really good for early game. Eventually down the road, we'll see which one's better, but for the early game currently in the meta, critical damage is much better than defense penetration, especially when you get that lucky proc of crit. Now, the same thing will be going for your weapon. You want strength, damage, critical damage, and critical rate. Now for your instrument. Instrument's really unique because it has its own separate category. So obviously the primary, you still want to have strength. Now the secondary stats is that you want to take melee damage for melee, obviously, range for archers, magic for mage, healing for healers, right? So that's pretty cut and dry. So you want to have melee for a Darkrunner, melee damage attack for a Darkrunner. Now for if you're a melee, you want to take parry rate. If you're anything else, you want to take evasion. If you're not a melee, there's really no point for you to go parry rate. Just go straight up evasion because evasion is much better than parry. The only reason that melees take parry is because of deflect and retaliate. Now, shield block rate, if you're going Skull Knight or Night Cloak, you could consider taking shield block rate. If you're an archer, you could consider going movement speed. But I would suggest you just go straight into evasion. Even though evasion is a lot less than parry rate, as you can see here, it's about twice the amount. Parry rate is about twice the amount of evasion. But I would say that evasion, it's like 4 times better than parry rate if you're not a melee. So yeah. Now, last thing I want to touch up on the guide is that there's a guild cloak. If you go to your guild tab, go to prestige shop, you open this up. For your guild must be level 3 and you have to have 150 prestige and you can buy them. Now, these cloaks are set in stone. If you're a melee, you can't just buy anything that you want. You could, but it would not benefit you at all because these cloaks have set synthesis effects, right? So, for the melee one, you want to take the one with strength that gives you attack speed. For the archer one, you want to take the one that gives you agility with move speed. For the healer one, you want to take the one that gives you spirit with maximum health. And for the mage one, you want to take the one that gives you intelligence and decreased cast time. And there's the tank one. If you really want to go for this one, you could. It gives you stamina and 5% parry and 5% block rate. So yeah, that's about it for the video. Yeah, follow my Twitch, and bye. Hope this helped you.